Thank you again for joining us for the 44th YWCA Toronto Women of Distinction Awards. It's wonderful to see everybody here. It's a beautiful room. It's a great night. You all look good. You're with good friends. We're not going to talk about trade. We're not going to talk about tariffs. We're just going to celebrate women. My name is, yes, woo indeed. My name is Anne-Marie Meadowake, and I host CTV Your Morning. It's CTV's national morning show, so I've been up earlier than all of you. It is my pleasure to be back with you all again this evening. I've previously hosted the Women of Distinction Awards 3 times, and I was also at the historic opening of the YWCA Toronto Elm Centre, which offers 300 units of permanent housing to women, gender-diverse people, and their dependents. And I'm thrilled to be back again. So yes, an applause for the YWCA and the great work that they do in the city. Some of you I know have already checked out the silent auction table, and I know this because I'm trying to get the Dua Lipa tickets, and I'm getting outbid furiously by a bunch of you. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, on your table you're going to see these silent auction cards. Scan the QR code. You're going to get a full list of all of the items, plus where the bids sit. And remember that the bidding closes at 8:15, so bid generously and bid early. We've got a very fun and inspiring night ahead. We're going to be celebrating 7 award recipients, and we're going to take part in a meaningful moment in our program that is called the Create Change Challenge. Create Change Challenge. And Megan DeLima, the talented artist who welcomed us. Megan, can we just have a round of applause for her beautiful voice? So enjoyed it. We're going to hear from Megan twice more this evening. And as well, we will do that as part of our Create Change Challenge. So before we start the program, I just want to begin with a land acknowledgement. And keeping in mind that the land that we're on tonight, the land that we've gathered to honor and to celebrate, encourage women, and in that spirit of recognition, respect, and honor, we honor the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse Inuit, First Nations, and Métis people. Toronto is covered, we know, by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and we're grateful to work on this treaty land with each other to build a more equitable and just city for women, girls, and gender-diverse people. We have a really packed program for you this evening. We want to get started right away and keep things on time, so please join me in welcoming YWCA Toronto's fearless leader, Heather McGregor, Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and good evening, everyone. There's so many of you. On behalf of the YWCA, it's so wonderful to celebrate the 7 inspiring women. She's going to change this now so you can hear me. Thank you. So it's so wonderful to celebrate the 7 inspiring women of distinction with you in person tonight. On behalf of YWCA Toronto and the over 13,000 women, girls, and gender-diverse people we serve annually, thank you for joining us tonight. In addition to being a celebration of amazing women, this is YWCA Toronto's largest fundraiser of the year, where we hope to raise over $500,000 to help women, girls, and gender-diverse people transform their lives. So I think your applause means we're off to a very good start. We're very grateful to all our wonderful sponsors and donors, many of who support YWCA Toronto year after year. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you also to the dedicated event volunteers, including the members of the selection and the fundraising committees. As always, I'm inspired by your devotion and relentless determination. To all of you in this room tonight, your generosity allows YWCA Toronto to help women, girls, and gender diverse people flee violence, secure housing, find jobs, enhance skills, develop confidence, and transform their lives. You also allow us to engage in systemic, nonpartisan advocacy to influence policy and legislative change and push forward change in gender equity, poverty reduction, and social justice. YWCA Toronto is not just a service provider, it is a lifeline. When there's nowhere else to go, women and people come to us. And from that place of crisis, we bolster them. We provide shelter, yes, but also skills training, childcare, housing, community advocacy, and the unshakable belief that everyone deserves not just to survive, but to thrive. We do this in one of the world's most diverse cities during a time of deepening inequity, rising gender-based violence, and a housing crisis that grows more urgent every day. And still, we rise. We meet all of it with resolve, with compassion, and most importantly, together with you. That is the power of YWCA Toronto, and that is the power of everyone in this room tonight. Tonight is not just a celebration, it's a call to action. Together, we are raising funds to ensure the next woman who walks through our doors does not do it alone, that she finds a community ready to believe in her, fight for her, and stand with her as long as it takes. Over my tenure, and it's been some time, we've grown from 10 million to a $50 million organization. We now operate over 820 units of permanent supportive affordable housing in a city where housing is out of reach for far too many. Our employment programs now serve thousands each year rather than hundreds. And in the past 30 years, we've gone from a staff team of 250 to over 630. From shelter workers to Camp Tapawingo counselors, this remarkable team, who I'm honored to learn from every day, drives real and lasting change. And still, we are not done. In the past year, we have advanced critical advocacy efforts to end intimate partner and gender-based violence. Through cross-country coalitions, public campaigns, deputations, and partnerships, we've united over 150 organizations across Ontario to push for real legislative change. We co-led election campaigns urging the public to vote to end gender-based violence, and we saw results. This is what collective action looks like. This is what creates impact. I've stood on this stage many times, and I can say with absolute honesty, the mission of YWCA Toronto lives in my bones, because I've seen lives transformed, futures I've seen futures reclaimed, communities built. I've seen what is possible when we invest in women and gender diverse people, not as charity, but as justice. Tonight matters because every dollar raised is a promise that someone will be safe, seen, and supported. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I thank you for believing that a more just, more compassionate world is not only possible, it is necessary. Tonight, we honor 7 remarkable women who are passionate and resolved in their work to advance gender equity. Women of distinction are trailblazers, feminist role models, and champions for equity. They challenge systemic discrimination, advocate for marginalized women and children, and create opportunities to achieve greatness. These extraordinary women, through their unwavering commitment to helping other women, girls, and gender diverse people, are making real positive change in their own communities and beyond. In the 44-year history of this prestigious award, over 300 women have been bestowed the honor of becoming a YWCA Toronto Women of Distinction. And many of those women are here tonight, and you can tell them because they're wearing a Little Women of Distinction pin, so look out for that. The Circle of Distinction, which is what we call our wonderful alumni, and now includes tonight's award recipients, have the power to change the world for women through their own work and by supporting the YWCA Toronto's Distinction Fund. Congratulations to all our 2025 Women of Distinction on receiving their award tonight. Let's make tonight unforgettable for those we are honoring and for those still waiting for their chance to rise. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our first presenter, who is a 2014 Woman of Distinction alumna, Sherry Brideson's Spirited Feminism. Sherry Brideson's Spirited Feminism has inspired a lifelong commitment to empowering women. She has been a proud and extraordinarily generous supporter of YWCA Toronto since 1998. Sherry is a feminist visionary, entrepreneur, and the founder principal of Elmwood Spa and Bangkok Gardens, who have been champion sponsors of the Women of Distinction Awards for many years. So let us welcome our dear friend, Sherry Bridson.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Yes, good. Well, it's wonderful to be here again. It seems like we were just here a few weeks ago, and it's been a whole year. And I'm really thrilled this year to be able to introduce to you our first award recipient, Nancy Barber, for being a trailblazer for women in the aerospace industry. And I want to first point out a statistic. I want to get this right now. The International Air Transport Association has told us that fewer than 6% of CEOs and COOs in the aviation business are women. And Nancy is one of them, and a most enthusiastic supporter, not just of the aviation industry, which she certainly is, but also has broken through the glass ceiling and brought with her a whole host of women she's been mentoring. And I think you heard some of them cheering just now. We might give you a chance to cheer again a bit later. Nancy started as an intern at Bombardier, and she worked there for 25 years, serving many roles and ending up as Chief Operating Officer, where she was responsible for delivering the largest business aircraft program in the industry. This is a really important industry, I have to tell you. The people who are contributing to this industry are doing what our Prime Minister is wanting us to do, which is mentoring, pushing manufacturing in Canada. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of parts that go into making an aircraft, and there are hundreds of millions of dollars in GDP and foreign exchange earned through the aviation industry in Canada, and Nancy is a really important part of this. I just wanted to recognize that, because not only is she doing things for women, but she's also doing things for the Canadian economy. So Nancy's impact has been widely recognized. She is a recipient of the prestigious Elsie Award for Business from the Northern Lights. Sorry, I've got my things mixed up. Aero Foundation, and was named one of Women's Executive Network's 100 Most Powerful Women in Canada in 2020. Nancy now serves as a special advisor to the Chief Executive Officer at de Havilland Aircraft of Canada Limited. And Brian's here tonight. He's one of Nancy's most enthusiastic supporters. As soon as Nancy joined as an advisor to de Havilland Aircraft of Canada, she brought with her her experience in promoting women in other areas, and she very quickly talked Brian into founding a group which has now come to call itself Propel Her. And I think a lot of the Propel Her mentees are here tonight. And under this program, 30 people in the de Havilland Aircraft of Canada organization are selected to be mentored by senior executives, and they spend a year working with them and learning. And the senior executives all tell me that they think they get more out of the program than the mentees themselves. She came to it honestly. She is president of Women in Aerospace Canada, committed to opening doors for the next generation of women and gender-diverse professionals. And under her leadership, Women in Aerospace Canada has grown tenfold, expanding its research and impact through mentorship programs, career development initiatives, and newcomer integration programs. And these efforts have directly supported hundreds of women and non-binary individuals in their careers. And I quoted you that statistic at the beginning. It's female members of any cohort in the organization are always way fewer than the men. So it's wonderful to see that she's been partnering with all these leading aerospace companies through Women in Aerospace to drive meaningful diversity, equity, and inclusion transformations. And through her efforts, she's really driven and is driving lasting change in the sector. It's a great sector to work in. Women shouldn't be intimidated to work there. It's a lot of fun. It's very exacting and demanding work. But if you have the right mindset, you have a friend in Nancy. Beyond aerospace, Nancy is deeply committed to fundraising and advocacy for cancer research. As a survivor herself, she has dedicated countless hours to raising awareness and funding through her fundraising team, Pink Armor, winning the Women's Challenge Award for top fundraiser 6 times. In 2015, Nancy served as the keynote speaker at the CIBC Run for the Cure opening ceremonies, inspiring many with her leadership, resilience, and advocacy. Just another little commercial message, what she's brought to de Havilland Aircraft of Canada. 3 years ago, she came to us as an advisor when we were wondering if our relatively small company was up to accepting a European contract to build water bombers. These are big planes. They're worth $60 million apiece. It's not a small investment. And Nancy consulted with us and gave us the confidence that we needed to go forward to pitch the sale of 22 aircraft to the European Union. And so this is going to bring over about $1.5 billion in foreign exchange back into Canada. And we couldn't have done it without Nancy's advice. So I could go on, and I would love to go on, but I know we want to get on with presenting her the award. So what I just want to say is Nancy is a trailblazer, a mentor, an industry leader, and she continues to reshape the aerospace landscape, ensuring women and gender-diverse individuals have the opportunity, support, and visibility they deserve. So let's have a look at Nancy.
Challenge yourself, push further, and never settle. Take off and chase the horizon. When women are underrepresented in industry, they face certain challenges, right, in terms of how do they navigate their career and how do they have the right conversations about their career. And so it's really helping them to define ultimately where do they want to end up, and then what are some of those foundational skills that they need to achieve to make sure that they get there. I always took the most challenging role that I was offered. I always took the next opportunity, and it wasn't easy. It really put me in those moments of uncomfortable. But it's how I really developed my career and how I experienced so many amazing things in the industry. And that's what I really try to emphasize with women in the industry today and through Women in Aerospace Canada. What we see in industries that are male dominated is if women don't have that support structure, we see them opt out. And to me, that is where we fail, because we have very talented women who are making a huge difference. And that's why, to me, it's if I can just, keep the women in the industry, as much as possible, we are building a much stronger industry because of that. You just have to keep chasing the horizon, put yourself in the uncomfortable, and at the end of it all, you will accomplish amazing things.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm number one, so you need to help me break the ice here. I'm incredibly honored to accept this Women of Distinction Award for Corporate Leadership from the YWCA Toronto. Thank you, Sherry, so much for your nomination and your incredibly kind words. You are truly an inspiration to all of us. Everything that you've accomplished and everything that you continue to do for us Thank you to the YWCA Toronto for this recognition and to everyone here tonight for supporting such an important event. I started in the industry over 25 years ago as a summer intern, and honestly, what a journey it's been. Oh, the stories I could tell. I was very, very fortunate to have strong role models and mentors to guide me, as well as leadership that really believed in me and really supported my career development. And that kind of support changes lives. Early in my career, I also recognized the immense talent that women bring to the table and the painful reality that many were not advancing, not because of their capability, but because of the systemic barriers that were placed in their way. And this realization really sparked my personal commitment to do something about this. Since then, I've had the privilege of helping many talented women break through those barriers and grow their careers. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, the Canadian aerospace industry is stronger, more innovative, and more resilient because of their contributions. As I stand here tonight, I'll leave you with a challenge. Everyone knows me. I love to hand out a challenge anytime I get the stage. When you return to your organizations, really ask yourself, are you creating those conditions for talented women to thrive? Are you mentoring them? Are you sponsoring them? And are you actively dismantling the barriers that still persist? Thank you for being here tonight. Events like this matter very deeply. They celebrate the incredible contributions of women, and your presence shows that you value this work. I want to recognize that there's people here from all across Canada that have flown from the corners of Victoria, BC, through Calgary, through Montreal. There's also people that purposely drove into a construction zone in Toronto to be here tonight. It's not unrecognized. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate my fellow honorees. Meeting you has been truly inspiring, and I'm absolutely in awe of everything that you've accomplished. Thank you.
Let me start again. It's been my privilege to serve as the chair of the fundraising committee for this amazing event for the last 2 years, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here tonight. Carly Kalish. I have to tell you, we have a partner named Ira Kalish, and so I practiced so many times saying Kalish, and I still screwed it up. So, sorry, Carly. Carly is a champion for survivors of human trafficking. Early in her professional career as a trauma therapist at East Metro Youth Services, she saw just how pressing and under-recognized the human trafficking was in Toronto. She became a critical ally and counselor for hundreds of girls and women, many of whom were unaware of the crimes being perpetrated against them. Her knowledge of exploitation and tireless efforts to improve support services led to the formation of an anti-human trafficking coalition of 30 community partners. At EMYS, Carly designed Toronto's first ever human trafficking trauma program and earned a $500,000 grant to sustain it long term. As Executive Director and now Chief Executive Officer of Victims Services Toronto, she leads a team of counselors, social workers, and advocates who provide 24/7 support to over 18,000 survivors of crime each year. Including many fleeing gender-based violence. One of her biggest successes is the expansion of Exit Route, a program that provides rapid and seamless support to survivors of human trafficking and intimate partner violence by embedding resources directly into police divisions across our city. Another of Carly's significant accomplishments is Reclaim, a program that alleviates the burden of fraudulent debt that traffickers often force upon survivors, a devastating, often overlooked issue. Using this project as evidence, she worked with a range of multi-institutional partners to help draft Bill 41, which legally frees survivors from their coerced debt and ensured that the bill passed all 3 readings in Queen's Park. Carly is the recipient of several awards, as you can imagine, including the prestigious Attorney General's Victim Services Awards of Distinction in 2018 and Justice Canada's Excellence in Victim Service Award in 2024. Now, let's look at the screen.
Collaboration is the new competition. A human trafficking survivor, a 19-year-old girl, she had this plan that when he was asleep deeply, she researched while he was gone how to jimmy the lock from the inside, and she stole his laptop and she ran barefoot to the nearest Tim Hortons because she knew that they would be open late at night, and she also knew that they had free Wi-Fi. And she Googled help 24 hours a day, and she came across Victim Services Toronto's phone number, and she called us. About 70% of the people we support at Victim Services Toronto are survivors of gender-based violence. So that includes intimate partner violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. The average human trafficking survivor leaves their trafficker with $20,000 of debt. So we started this new program in 2022 called Reclaim that addresses and resolves this coercive and fraudulent debt on behalf of human trafficking survivors by advocating to creditors. So we're about 90% effective at removing human trafficking survivors' debt that has been incurred due to human trafficking. We're the only program in Canada that's doing this, and we couldn't do it alone. The coolest thing on the planet is witnessing human being resilience. We have 2 staff here now, maybe 3, who were human trafficking survivors and now who work at Victim Services Toronto. We always say that collaboration is the new competition because it truly takes a village in order to support people.
It is my honor to present the 2025 YWCA Toronto Award of Distinction in the area of social justice to Carly.
Today I stand before you as a witness to both humanity's darkest corners and its most brilliant lights of hope. Sex trafficking, 2 words that represent the commodification of human beings, predominantly women and girls who are bought, sold, and exploited right here in our communities, behind the doors we pass every day. But we cannot talk about trafficking without addressing its root, a world that still sees violence against women as acceptable. Gender-based violence isn't just physical, it's economic. When women are denied equal pay, political, when women's bodies become policy battlegrounds, and cultural, when harmful traditions persist. I've supported survivors who've said, the worst part wasn't the pain, it was believing they deserved it. There is a special kind of magic when women decide to show up for each other. When you understand that your freedom is tied to mine. I've seen it at Victim Services Toronto when survivors become counselors, and in homes where mothers teach their daughters that their worth is non-negotiable. How do we turn awareness into action? We must believe survivors every time without question. We must use our resources, our voice, our vote, our skills, and we must remember that healing is possible. There will be days when the task seems too great, when progress is too slow. On those days, remember Maya Angelou's words, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. We are not reduced by the violence in our world. We are expanded by our response to it. So let us leave today not just moved, but motivated, not just aware, but activated. Because when it comes to gender-based violence, there is no neutral ground. There's only what we choose to do with the time we have and the resources we hold. And I believe the people in this room have the power to create the world we all deserve. I know my fellow recipients here tonight are already doing that every single day, and it's just a true honor to be recognized in this incredible group. Thank you, thank you, thank you, YWCA Toronto. I'm just totally floored and honored to be here. Thank you.
Carly, congratulations. You know, the women that we are honoring tonight, one of the things I like best about this event, I should say before I continue, is that you learn about advocacy and action that happens in this city that you otherwise might not know about or encounter. And that can be through any walk of life and in any jurisdiction. It is incredible that we bring all these women and people here together so that we can learn from one another. Yes, more cheers for Carly. You know, Carly is a great example of when you take the resilience of women and you combine it with advocacy and action, the change that can happen. Like so many women in this room. And I know that there's more inspiring women or gender diverse individuals that we all know that are probably in this room or somebody that you can think of right now. You know, Nancy said a really good thing. She asked all of us to go back to our workplaces and say, are we actively promoting and encouraging women, and are we dismantling barriers for them? And one of the ways that you can promote women is to consider nominating a woman or gender diverse individual who has inspired you, whose story has inspired you, whose life and actions have inspired you. You can nominate them for a 2026 YWCA Toronto Distinction Award before October 31st. There's information about that in your program, the little booklet that's on your table, or you can visit YWCA Toronto's website, ywcatoronto.org. So while you're thinking of doing that, I'd like to welcome our next presenter, Jen McGoey, Partner and Chief Compliance Officer, Dawson Partners.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So Dawson is honored to be here as a sponsor again this year of the Women of Distinction Awards. Tonight we celebrate all of the extraordinary women here and their many, many, many achievements. They're all inspiring, hardworking, inclusive, and generous with their time and resources. So congratulations to all of you. Indeed. So as a company, Dawson sets a target of donating 1% of its revenue to support local organizations and causes, and supporting the YWCA is a cause that is really near and dear to our hearts. So I am honored to present this next award to an inspiring young leader, Dr. Aditi Sivakumar, our 2025 Young Woman of Distinction. Yeah. So Dr. Sivakumar is an obstetrics and gynecology resident doctor and a dedicated women's rights advocate, elevating the voices of systemically marginalized communities. After witnessing the devastating effects of gender-based violence through her undergraduate volunteer work at a local domestic violence shelter in Ottawa, Dr. Sivakumar knew she needed to act. And in 2018, she launched My Empowerment Platform, an easily accessible web-based application dedicated to providing women and girls facing violence with the information they needed to find safety. This impressive endeavor took on a new importance in the pandemic, when many women were trapped at home with their abusers and experienced increased violence. Aditi has since expanded the platform's offerings to include sexual and reproductive health resources through the use of animation and videography. Beyond the My Empowerment Platform, Aditi is the youngest person in the world to be appointed board vice chair to the Partnership of Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health, which is hosted by the World Health Organization. Her work there has encompassed impressive achievements, such as co-leading the Global Forum for Adolescence, the largest forum for adolescent health and well-being in the world, and What Young People Want, which was formerly 1.8 billion Young People for Change campaign that aims to gather perspectives, opinions, and aspirations of young people across the world. Aditi's efforts have earned her the prestigious Diana Legacy Award, an honor given to 12 youth social change makers worldwide in commemoration of the late Princess Diana, and 2023 Governor General's Award in commemoration of the Persons Case, which recognizes individuals who have made an outstanding contribution to the goal of equality in women and girls in Canada. Let's take a look.
It's not about falling. It's about rising every time. I think there is the societal image of what a woman facing gender-based violence looks like. But the statistics show us that 1 in 3 women from every socioeconomic background faces gender-based violence. Back in 2018, I volunteered at the Chrysalis House, a local domestic violence shelter in Ottawa, and I fell in love with that shelter. The women, children, staff really inspired my dedication towards ending gender-based violence. And then COVID ended up happening in 2020. And I remember watching the Chrysalis House that I loved become overburdened with women who wanted a safe place to stay. I just remember speaking to the women specifically at the shelter and realizing that they wanted educational support, realizing that they didn't know what housing supports were available, what childcare services were available. And I just remember feeling kind of helpless because I knew that these services must exist in some capacity, but there was a gap between those who wanted the services and the services that existed. And at one point, I think I just got tired of waiting for change and I wanted to become the change. And that's what really was the driving force behind me closing that gap. So I created a platform called My Empowerment Platform. So this includes all the educational, medical, legal resources that all women and children facing violence could access. I think as women from every walk of life, there is times where you feel that the world is against you or that you're fighting this battle alone. But what I really wanted the charity to embody is that even though you can't see them, there's an army of women out there supporting you, waiting for you to succeed, cheering you on. And that any circumstance that might be negative is only temporary, and that you are strong enough to move past that, and that you have the ability and the strength to move forward and live the life that you want.
So we're really happy as well that as a part of Dr. Aditi's award, she will receive a $3,000 scholarship to help further her education and training. This scholarship is provided by the family of Julia M. Ruby, and we really thank them for their generosity. So please congratulate me and join me in congratulating me and Dr. Aditi Sivakumar.
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you tonight deeply humbled, incredibly honored, and filled with gratitude to receive the YWCA Young Woman of Distinction Award. My passion for ending gender-based violence has driven every part of this journey. Too many women and girls continue to live in fear, trapped by silence, stigma, or systems that were never designed to protect them. Far too long, their pain has been ignored, their survival overlooked, and their voices pushed aside. The work I do, whether it's building accessible digital platforms, delivering essential resources to shelters, or advocating on global stages, is rooted in one core belief. Safety is not a privilege, it's a right. No woman should ever feel invisible, unheard, or alone in her fight for dignity and justice. I've also long believed in the power of media as a tool for impact. Media allows us to bring to light the stories that too often go untold. It moves us beyond headlines and statistics and into lived realities. That's why I'm especially thankful that this award includes a monetary gift, because it gives me the opportunity to pursue a project that's close to my heart, a documentary exploring the resilience and challenges of women living with HIV during pregnancy. These are women whose stories are almost never told, women navigating multiple layers of stigma, systemic neglect, and healthcare inequality. And yet they continue forward with extraordinary strength. This film will help bring their voices forward, not as statistics, but as mothers, survivors, and leaders in their own right. Because the fight for gender equity isn't confined to headlines or hashtags, it lives in the everyday. in hospitals, shelters, and courtrooms, and in the quiet, relentless strength of women who show up, speak out, and keep moving, not for recognition, but because they believe in something better. This award doesn't simply acknowledge a moment, it celebrates a movement, one carried forward by every woman who has shown up, speaks out, and keeps moving, as well as one who refuses to shrink, and those that use their voices, their platform, and their power to open doors for others. To my families, my mentors, my colleagues, and the communities I serve, I thank you. I share this honor with each of you. And finally, to every woman watching tonight, pushing forward quietly, dreaming of something bigger, you belong here too. Keep going, keep growing, and always remember your voice, your vision, and your presence matters more than you know. Thank you.
Dr. Aditi, thank you so much, and congratulations again. I love that saying that it's not about falling, it's about rising, but it's also about holding people up and keeping them moving forward. And information we know is power, and the information that you provide to women who rise with the practicalities of where to find healthcare, where to seek help, that is so important and gives so much power. We're gonna head into dinner, into our dinner service, but just before we do that, I wanna remind you, silent auction. Leave the Dua Lipa tickets alone. No, I'm just kidding. Keep bidding on them, be generous. You can scan the QR code. Lots of great items still for you to bid on. And just really quickly, I want to reintroduce Megan DeLima, who you've been enjoying all evening long. Welcome back to the stage. Just a little note about Megan, if I may. Megan, can I take a second just to brag on you for just a moment? Megan is a Honey Jam alumna, founded by none other than Ebony Rowe, a 2005 YWCA Toronto Woman of Distinction. Ebony, we know, has long been a passionate champion for emerging artists and young women in music, and Megan is a shining example of that. So enjoy yourselves, enjoy your dinner, enjoy Megan, and we'll be back in 30 minutes.
Stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. And she's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, I know, when I compliment her, she won't believe me. It's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me to, I look okay. I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, oh, when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she lets me. Her laugh, she hates but I think it's so pretty. And she's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. know I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking, do I look okay? No, I'll say when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, oh, when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are, the way you are. Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, oh, when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
Megan DeLima, everybody. Thank you, Megan. I trust that everybody is enjoying their dinner, but I'd love your attention for just a moment. Thanks, everybody. I would love your attention for just a moment while you continue to enjoy dinner. We have a special guest with us this evening. She is a familiar face to not only people in this room, in this city, but right across the country. Mayor Olivia Chow doesn't just lead this city, she supports the organizations that run this city, and she supports the people who help to uplift the people who live here. Please welcome to the stage, Mayor of the City of Toronto, Olivia Chow.
I am so proud to join with you here tonight, to come together, honor the incredible achievements of 7 extraordinary women. Their accomplishments are phenomenal. Leaders, champions, fundraisers for the life-changing programs and services of YWCA Toronto. These champions, which you will meet, or you met some, you meet others, are incredible. I went to visit YWCA on M Street. I took the media with me because it was the first thing I did as a new mayor, not even declared, not even sworn in yet. I told them that the mayor needs to learn about what YWCA had been doing and get to know the YWCA team better. I wanted to showcase the good work of YWCA at the M Center, creating affordable housing, supportive housing. I held it up as a model of what the city can do. Yeah, and I did. To build safe place where families can call home. Wow, you know, it's something so fundamental. And yet, it seems the dream is so far away, it shouldn't be. And then immediately, Heather pulled me aside and said, Mayor, I can't call you mayor yet, mayor-elect. Mayor-elect, you need to do something. about intimate partner violence. And she said, you need to do a declaration. So later that month, at my first council meeting as mayor, I brought a motion, drafted by YWCA, no doubt, to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic. I did, and it was approved unanimously. Yes. Other municipalities also then followed. Look, it's YWCA, it's all of you, your advocacy, your leadership, it's your work that was instrumental in making that happen. But that's just a declaration. You then continue to do the work, bringing people together, having conversation on housing, supportive housing, how to do it. And you folks are such great partners.
Is it on? Oh, it's good, it's on. Thank you, Mayor Chair. I know you almost took the mic with you. Listen, it's your city. You can take the mic if you want to. Listen, on your way to Ottawa, when you're talking to the Prime Minister and the Housing Minister and the Finance Minister, can you let them know that we'd love to talk to them on your morning? So if you could just pass that along, that'd be great. Thank you. Have a safe trip. Thank you. Look at it, women supporting women all over the place. I also love hearing about your longtime friendship with Heather, and that's what happens when women are supporting women. I also wanted to point out, I had some interesting conversations in the ladies' room. It's always where the most interesting conversations at these events happened, is in the ladies' room. Nancy Barber, you have some good friends. They were talking you up big in the ladies' room. And as you all know, it is a long line when you wait for the ladies' room. So there was much room for conversation and much, much praise for you. Another woman that we would like to give a lot of praise and is due this evening is welcoming to the stage Joanne Ryan. She's the Vice President, Philanthropic Advisory Services, TD Wealth. She'll be introducing our next award of the evening as we continue our program through dinner.
Good evening and welcome. I'm with TD Wealth, and I have the pleasure of working with our clients to guide them along their philanthropic journeys. I don't help them make money. Some of my other colleagues thankfully do that. We're very proud to be the first financial institution in Canada to launch what's called a donor-advised fund, we call them DAFs, as an alternative to establishing a private foundation. This past year, Private Giving Foundation celebrated a milestone 20-year anniversary with over $1.4 billion contributed to our communities since inception, with many of our donors choosing the YWCA Toronto as a grant recipient. We're very proud of our groundbreaking research on women and philanthropy in Canada. Our most recent research, Trust and Transformation, Canadian Women and Philanthropy, highlights the vital role that women play in driving social change. It was a pleasure last fall to partner with YWCA Toronto to moderate an important conversation celebrating women and philanthropy. This evening, we are honored to continue that connection, and it's our privilege to be presenting the Health Award to Dr. Paula Rochon. Dr. Paula Rochon is a geriatrician and the founding director of Women's Age Lab at Women's College Hospital, the first lab in the world focused on improving the health and well-being of women as they age. And believe me, we all age, take it from me. An area long overlooked. As the retired Teachers of Ontario Chair of Geriatric Medicine at U of T and former Vice President of Research at Women's College Hospital, she spent her career transforming women's health care. Dr. Rochon's work has made a profound impact in forming the development of evidence-based interventions that address the unique health needs of aging women. She's published over 300 research articles in numerous medical journals, the Canadian Medical Association Journal, The Lancet, and has been cited by Health Canada, the US Food and Drug Administration. Through her former role as chair of the Canadian Institutes of Health Research Institute of Aging, she's amplified the healthcare needs of older adults and women globally. Her many distinctions include being elected as a fellow to the Canadian Academy of Health Sciences, the Canadian Geriatrics. From U of T, she was awarded Eaton Clinical Researcher, the Eugene Stewart Award for the Best Thesis, the President's Impact Award, along with COVID-19 Science Table Leadership Award for outstanding pandemic response contributions. And if that's not enough, Paula is a dedicated mentor. As a professor in the Department of Medicine, Geriatric Medicine, and Public Health at U of T, she supports women throughout their careers. She supports researchers, clinicians, and future geriatricians in advancing medical research and inclusive care for older adults, particularly for women. Please join me in watching her video.
Bridging the health gap, building a future where older women are no longer invisible. Even when you talk about aging, you don't particularly talk about women and aging. And when you talk about women, you don't necessarily talk about older women. And all of these things, I think, lead to women being somewhat invisible and older women feeling that they're invisible. Well, I became interested in aging, I think, through my grandparents. You know, my grandfather lived to almost 103, and my grandmother lived well into her 90s, and my parents were very healthy. And I realized that not everyone had that kind of experience. Women's Age Lab is, to our knowledge, the first research center in the world that's focusing on women and aging. And I think that speaks to the importance of why we need to do this. When we were creating Women's Age Lab, we talked to many individuals. We talked to clinicians, we talked to researchers, we talked to policymakers, we talked to different kinds of community groups, and most important, we talked to women and we talked to older women. And over again, we heard that women really felt that they were invisible, that they really were not seen in the health care that they were receiving. You know, what we're talking about here at Women's Age Lab is something that really matters to all of us. You know, I think sometimes we forget the obvious, that we're all aging, and so this is something that's very important for everyone.
It is my pleasure to present the Women of Distinction 2025 Award for Health to Dr. Paula Rochon.
Well, thank you so much for the recognition. You know, it's amazing to think that despite there's now 1 billion older adults, and most of them are women, that women often feel that they're invisible in the healthcare system, especially older women. And to our knowledge, it's also hard to imagine that Women's Age Lab is the first research center that we know of in the world that's focusing on women. So I think we need to change that. And I want to give thanks to my parents and my grandparents who really kind of inspired me to get into this area. As you heard, you know, my grandfather lived to 103 and my grandmother lived well into her 90s. But I think the thing that impressed me about their lives was that they were really very healthy throughout their lives. And that's something that I realized not everyone was able to enjoy. And something that I think we needed to think about what we could do differently. So thank you also to my incredible team. A number of them are here with me today for all of the work that they do. And to the amazing donors and funders that we've had. You know, you really can't do this kind of work without that kind of support. And then, of course, to my family and to all of the many women who've contributed so much to all the work that we do. Now, we can't do this alone. We need people to help us, and we need everyone who's doing research to think about, what about aging, what about women? We need to think about everyone who's reading reports. We need to think about all of you who may be going to your healthcare providers to ask, what about women? What about aging? It's now, in my view, perhaps more important than ever before for Canadians, especially Canadian researchers, to take the lead and to look at how they can bridge the gap for women in aging. And then, as I always end off when I'm talking about these things, is, sometimes we do forget the obvious, and I think it is so obvious. We're all aging, and the things that we're talking about here today matter to all of us.
Congratulations, Dr. Paula. It's now my pleasure to introduce Harmony Edzito, Director of Shelters and Clinical Services at YWCA Toronto.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your caring commitment to the women, girls, and gender diverse people who rely on YWCA Toronto. I am honored to serve as the Director of Shelters and Clinical Services. My journey began 10 years ago as a student at YWCA, and since then, I have worked at all of our shelters, housing programs, and support services. In that time, I've seen the need for our work grow sharply. Wait times at the shelter have tripled, and many survivors return more than once before finding a safe home. We support people through crisis and remain by their side at every phase of healing and rebuilding. Through the housing crisis, the opioid epidemic, and rising mental health needs, YWCA Toronto remains a source of safety and strength, and we cannot do it without you. One of the most urgent and enduring crises we respond to is intimate partner violence. And tonight, I'm honored to introduce you to the powerful work we've been doing to support survivors to take the next brave step towards safety and independence. Tonight, as we celebrate these inspirational women, I would like to introduce you to a very special segment of our program, the Create Change Challenge, which is a call to collective action. 5 years ago, as we all grappled with the uncertainty of the pandemic, the growing number of women, gender diverse people, and children found themselves trapped at home with their abuser, facing intensified gender-based violence. Resources for survivors during those times dwindled, suppressed by far-reaching impacts of the pandemic, even as the demand for support surged, and tragically, so did the number of femicides. Half a decade later, this violence remains elevated. Tonight, we will be highlighting our December 6th Fund, one of YWCA Toronto's 37 high-impact, life-changing programs. The December 6th Fund offers a means of escape. This unique program provides interest-free loans of up to $1,500 to participants in Toronto and Peel regions who are rebuilding their lives after experiencing gender-based violence. The fund helps survivors pay for needs like first and last month's rent, changing locks, transportation, movers, and furniture, removing barriers in moments of crisis, and empowering them to move forward with strength, dignity, and hope. Let us watch Dawn's powerful story of resilience and hear how, without the financial assistance from the December 6th Fund, she believes she might not be alive today.
My name is Dawn. I am a hairdresser, and I love doing what I do. And I am a mother of 2 young adults who I'm very proud of. I was married for over 31 years. At the beginning, everything seemed okay, but things started to change as the time went on. He became very controlling with everything. with my time, with my friends, with the finance at home. And then later he became very abusive, very violent. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go, who to turn to. And then one day, he broke my arms. I felt trapped. I didn't have any money.
Economic prosperity and financial independence deeply impact a person's ability to leave a violent situation. And one of the most incredible programs that YWCA Toronto offers is the December 6th Fund.
The December 6th Fund is here as a revolving loan to support women and gender diverse folks leave abusive relationships.
A very lovely neighbor of mine, she came up to me and she said that she's been noticing the abuse on me. She introduced me to December 6th Fund, and I was so surprised that something like that really existed out there to help women like me and my children.
After receiving Donna's referral and her coming in to sign some of the required documentation that we needed, we also sat down to get to know her and to figure out how we can better support her.
After the meeting with Hannah at the Y, I was really surprised to see that the funds was in my account the very next day. And because of this, I was able to put the first and last month rent on my apartment.
The intimate partner violence crisis is happening amidst a series of other crises. There's the affordable living crisis, there's the housing crisis, and we know that both of these things exacerbate a person's experiences with violence. YWCA Toronto has a long history of advocating against gender-based violence and intimate partner violence. And in the last number of years where we've seen this epidemic of intimate partner and gender-based violence, we've really taken a strong stance to say that the governments in Ontario, municipally, so locally here in Toronto and nationally, need to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic.
That was the first time that we felt so safe being in our own home and protected. It was a new start for our new life.
We're here to support you. We're here to ensure your safety and give you access to the funds and the means to be able to move on your own terms. What makes this loan so special is that it's interest-free and it's accessible. What that would look like is, repayments as low as $20 a month.
I live in a really cozy apartment that I can finally call it my own home. And this is very important to me, to have my own space, to be able to do what I want in my own space.
Although you are paying back this loan and you're healing, once you've paid it back, you're ensuring that another woman who is also fleeing violence.
I am extremely happy to know that I have paid that fund off. And what made it easy was that they made affordable payments for me to make monthly. And the fact that me paying them back is going towards helping another woman who's in the same situation that I was in 8 years ago. That is such an amazing feeling inside that I'm helping someone else. I'm extremely grateful for the YWCA Toronto because without their help, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I hope that video opened your hearts and will inspire you to open your wallets to help women and girls and gender diverse people that YWCA Toronto supports. I see the impact of your generosity firsthand. Thank you in advance for helping to create positive change. To me, there's something incredibly powerful about survivors helping survivors. This act of paying it forward turns pain into purpose. Every time a recipient gives back, she builds a bridge for someone else to cross. The Create Change Challenge is a call to action and invitation to you to make a big difference in the lives of those in need. When you donate to the challenge tonight, your gift will go twice as far. On your table, you have your Double the Impact envelopes. Please take a look if you wish to partake. Thanks to our incredible Create Change match donor and longtime supporter of YWCA Toronto, Pam Graham, every donation you give tonight will be matched dollar for dollar up to $50,000. That means that your support tonight will have double the impact and help us reach even more women, girls, and gender diverse people across our city. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce Pam Graham, our Create Change match donor. Pam, please join me.
Thank you, Harmony. It's really an honor to be part of tonight's program. Oh, I'm gonna cry after that video. I didn't set out to become a long-time YWCA donor, but that's what I've become. It started with childhood summer at the YWCA's Camp Tapawingo, where I saw how donations helped kids who couldn't otherwise afford to be there. At that time, I thought the biggest crisis was missing tuck shop. But I quickly witnessed how outside support could open life-changing doors. And since my mid-20s, I've donated to the YWCA every year. I'm continually impressed by how far they stretch every dollar, doing more with less and making a meaningful impact. The theme of this segment of the evening, Create Change, is a powerful reminder that the right tool or resource at the right time can help someone make their next step towards safety and independence. There's a gazillion worthy causes to consider out there, and we all have to choose wisely. I chose to match donations this year because I've witnessed the YWCA's ability to turn support into real results for women and gender diverse people. And what I love about this program is its threefold empowerment model. It's a lot of words. First, applying for the program builds confidence. Second, using the funds creates progress. And thirdly, repaying the loan completes the cycle and gives someone else the same opportunity. With your donation and my match, that's a six-fold investment in empowerment of women. And I think that's a return that we can really all feel good about. So thank you. So tonight, there are a number of ways that you can make your donation and create change with me. You can scan the QR code on the donation card tucked into your program, just in case you haven't seen it. There's a sample of it. And you can enter your information online. You'll receive your tax receipt immediately. It's sent to the email address that you've entered online. Or you can make your donation by check, credit, cash, credit card, by filling out the information on the back of the card and placing it in the large envelope in the center of the table. It's very important to complete all the information on the back of this card so the YWCA Toronto can send you your tax receipt. Volunteers will be walking around collecting large envelopes, I love it. And only tonight, your impact will be doubled, so please be as generous as you can to give you an idea of what your gift can do. So $1,500 can offer an interest-free loan to help a survivor begin the next stage of life free from violence. $1,000 towards a deposit to help secure first and last month rent, giving a woman and their children the chance to rebuild their lives. $500 can fund the purchase of furniture to turn an empty space into a safe and welcoming home. $300 can cover moving costs so a woman or gender diverse individual can leave a violent home. And $50, just $50, can change locks, giving a woman and her children a renewed sense of safety. If you've entered your information online, use the QR code on the card. You do not need to fill in the physical card. So no contribution is too large or too small, but do try to make the largest donation you can. The YWCA Toronto and vital programs like the December 6th Fund depend on the funds raised here this evening. So now we're going to give you time to make your donation. If I can have your attention just for a few more minutes. If I can have your attention. So, as you heard in Dawn's video, one woman, gender diverse person or child is reportedly killed each week in Ontario as a result of gender-based violence. In 2024, this fund provided loans of $80,200 that helped 64 women. And as Harmony said, each time a woman repays her loan, she builds a bridge for another family. So tonight, you have the opportunity to pay it forward, to show solidarity with survivors, to give with compassion, and to become part of this incredible community of change makers. I think the volunteers are finishing up collecting the envelopes, so please fill out your cards and complete your online donation. Thank you. Tonight you have helped me, the YWCA of Toronto, double their impact, and your generosity will create significant change in people's lives. So thank you.
Thanks for the musical introduction. Pam, thank you for your generosity. And just a reminder to people, if you didn't have a chance to fill out your donor card, even they've made it so easy for you at YWCA. I mean, we do this all the time. It's a scan, it's a click. I mean, if you've ordered anything from Amazon in the last 24 hours, this is just as easy as that. And you get your full tax receipt, and you double your impact. Amazon does none of those things. So I would encourage you to do a quick scan. You know, if anybody had their nails done before they came here tonight, that's more than $50 at most places. You can make that donation tonight here. And if you're the guest of somebody at a table or that you've bought a table, thank you for your generosity tonight. We're going to take just a really quick moment to clear our plates, to have some dessert, a chance for you to donate, bid on the silent auction, and we're going to get to listen to Megan DeLima once again. And I forgot to introduce Eddie on the keys. So Eddie, thank you so much for tonight. Everybody, Megan and Eddie.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile for your cheeks? 'Cause darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart still fall as hard at 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all gone and my memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name. When my hands don't play the strings the same way, oh, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow old, it's evergreen. And baby, your smile's forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. And baby, it's all part of the plan. And I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. So baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found a love right where we are. Ooh. So baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Oh darling, place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found a love right where we are. And maybe we found a love right where we are. And we found a love right where we are.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's me. I'm going to ask you to take your seats because there's chocolate tort. Does everyone know there's chocolate tort at the tables? If you don't know that, get to your seat. There's chocolate tort. Thank you, Megan, for that incredible performance. I hope everyone's enjoying the evening so far. Some people are. My name is Sarah Yaffe. I have, oh, that's nice, thank you. I got a woot. I have the privilege of serving as the president of the board for this incredible organization. Yeah, amazing, right? I'm here to ask you to enjoy your chocolate tort. I'm also here to ask the question that's on everyone's mind. Did Anne-Marie win the Dua Lipa tickets? Let's hope so. What I really want to do is thank everyone who's here tonight, guests, sponsors, for joining us. YWCA Toronto is fortunate to have sponsors and donors who are so loyal and so committed to supporting our work. It's hard to compete with chocolate tort. Yeah. We are grateful for our champion sponsors, TD Bank Group and Elmwood Spa and Bangkok Garden. Yeah, woo! Thank you to our Create Change match donor, Pam Graham. Thank you, Pam. Thank you to our patron sponsors, Dawson, de Havilland Aircraft of Canada Limited, and University of Toronto. Thank you. Thank you to our tribute sponsors, Deloitte and RBC. Thank you to our future leader sponsors, PwC Canada and Society of United Professionals. Woo! Also, thank you to our volunteer sponsor, Seidel Asset Management, our media sponsor, the Globe and Mail, and our official jeweler, FTJCO, creators of the beautiful Women of Distinction pins. Go and take a look at them. They're gorgeous. We are also grateful to the Liberty Grand for their thank you gift cards to Chibo Restaurant that are clipped in your program books. While you're enjoying your chocolate torte, take a look and see, find your gift certificate to Chibo. Thank you also to our silent auction and raffle prize donors and all the supporters who bought tables and tickets, many of whom have been coming to the Women of Distinction Awards for years. And thank you to the team at the YWCA who works so hard to put this event on, to Sasha, Jackie, to everyone who's working so hard here. Finally, thank you to the wonderful event volunteers whose tremendous help and energy have made this evening possible. Now, let's bring our attention back to celebrating the outstanding individuals who continue to inspire and lead the way. And to do that, we're going to dive back into the awards ceremony, and I am going to welcome my fellow board member, Uchenwa Genus, VP Specialty Pharmacy at McKesson. Uchenwa.
Good evening, everyone. It's been my privilege to serve as the chair of the selection committee, and I'm thrilled to join you tonight to present the next award recipient. Decca Nur is a strong advocate for social justice, economic inclusion, and local community-driven decision-making. A proud Somali Canadian herself, Decca saw mothers in her community struggling, often overlooked and unable to find supportive services and programs that meet their needs. In response to this, Decca founded Hoyo Innovation Hub. Hoyo means mother in Somali. Hoyo is an organization dedicated to helping Somali Canadian mothers build strong economic futures for themselves and for their families through capacity building programming. Since 2017, thanks to her leadership as Hoyo Innovation Hub's Executive Director and Project Manager, Somali Canadian mothers living in Toronto have been able to grow their skills and obtain vital tools for their economic stability. Tools such as food handler certificates and first aid and CPR training. Participants were also able to obtain home daycare qualifications for free, and this enabled them to establish their own sustainable businesses. During the pandemic, Decca's dedication helped many of Hoyo iHub participants as they were struggling to access virtual services for their families. So through Hoyo iHub, she provided women with tablets and technology literacy education to support their access to services and their children's virtual schooling needs. So beyond her extraordinary work with Hoyo iHub, Decca has given back to the Toronto community in a variety of meaningful ways. She's acted as an ambassador to Toronto's vaccine engagement team during COVID-19. She's launched a free tutoring program for youth in Etobicoke, and she currently serves on the Toronto Police Services Community Advisory Panel, as well as the Central Etobicoke Community Hub Initiative. Let's watch her video.
If you educate a woman, you educate a family, a nation, an entire generation. I think the hardest thing is that a lot of women love to go out there and chase their dream. But once you become a caregiver and 5 years pass by, 10 years pass by, and then where do you start? Who do you call? We built a hub for women who are from the marginalized community that are looking to come back to the field. So we really take out that discomfort, that worried of finding a way to reconnect society. We sit down with them and ask, what are you interested in? We're here to build the individual, and we build them toward their passion. We know if we build people, if we provide people access to, and tailor to their needs, it's tailoring to the needs of the individual. If we do that, I think we can, connect people to their future goals. And that's what we want. We want the economy to be there for everyone. Because we know that they carry on a lot of the load, a lot of the work in our society. So for me, if you educate a woman, if you educate a girl, that is giving them the tools, the equipment, the resources that they need to really win the marathon.
It is my honor to present the 2025 YWCA Women of Distinction Award for Community Leadership to Decca Nur.
Hi everyone, good evening. I just want to say thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to YWCA. Thank you so much. Thank you to YWCA for this amazing award, and congratulations to all the recipients. I also want to thank everybody who took their time to come and celebrate this important event. As many of you watched all the incredible work that many of us are doing across this city, a lot of times what I recognize is that many of us don't cross the same path. And I'm very, very happy that YWCA really is bringing a lot of people together, especially women who are doing amazing work in this city. So I'm very proud of all of you. I'm deeply honored, like I said, thank you. But this work and this award that I received is not something that I myself only received, but also a lot of the young females, women that put together and work together. So it's not just one person work. I just want to put that in. I also have to recognize the individual who nominated me, Anep, thank you, and all the other young people in our team. I was actually shocked, to be honest with you, because I didn't thought that they were going to do that, but they did. Really, like I said, it is very important to me that women who do struggle to navigate the system do get the support, space, and programming and initiatives. It is very significant to create space, programs, initiatives for social and economic development, to build a strong, more equitable communities. In order to reach that, I think it's very important that women are given the opportunities and remove the barrier, because many times women do face barrier, especially women that are from marginalized communities, women that do struggle to build entrepreneurship or struggle to get the support to really help their families or really, because a lot of times the people that we serve is women, especially mothers. So a lot of times these women do want to be part of the economy. They do want to participate in the economy, which it is my passion my passion for community development really led me to advocating and ensuring that women do have equal access to opportunity, resources, and participate in a full, in all aspects of our society. Especially education, entrepreneurship, also innovation, employment, decision-making, which is very crucial, leadership. And I think as many of you know that many of us that are here is because we did have a leader that supported us and got us to where we are today. So leadership in women is very, very significant. Women's social and economic development is vital for building a strong, more equitable, diversity, inclusion communities. It really builds our local communities because we know that especially when we talk about women with children, we know they are the foundation of the family. And in many times, it's very, very, very difficult. We know that when the fathers are there, but when fathers are not there, it gets even more difficult. So we make sure that women's capacity building through programming and initiatives which will contribute more to the progress development of their children, families, communities do benefit when women do get access to resources and social development. And also it will lead increase in our economy because we do talk about the economy. Everybody talks about the economy. But women do play a big role in the economy. And in order to make sure that all women do participate, we make sure that these programs, initiatives that will increase their capacity, especially women from marginalized communities, is very, very significant. Last but not least, I think I did mention about education and access to opportunity. I think one of the things that I always love to hear is a quote that Michelle Obama said. She said, the best tool for empowering women is education, which gives them the power to control their future. So with all the work, as many of you know, especially, and I will close it with this, I think one of the things in 2020 that we all learned is that it is very important that we do not forget everybody. We do live in this beautiful city, in this beautiful province, in this beautiful country. But COVID did taught me personally to create community capacity building because of when COVID came, we had that isolation and everything. But with this program, Hoyo project, which means mom, it's really to kind of bring everybody together and build that foundation for women who need that opportunity. And I think I would invite all of you to really reach out to somebody who needs that support. Not everybody can navigate the system. And I think those of us who got the opportunity or who receive a chance, I think it's a good way to pass it forward. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Decca, thank you and congratulations again. Our next honoree is a 2024 Woman of Distinction who was unable to join us at last year's event, so we are thrilled to celebrate her tonight. Please welcome to the stage Anna Kennedy, Chair of the Governing Council, University of Toronto, who will be presenting our next award.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and good evening, everyone. Deeply rooted in the University of Toronto's statement of institutional purpose is a resolute commitment to the principles of equal opportunity, equity, and justice. These same principles are fundamental to the YWCA's programs across Canada, and they have profoundly shaped the life and career of Kelly Hannah Moffat. Kelly's research, teaching, and advocacy for human rights within the Canadian justice system underscores the lack of gender-responsive and Indigenous-appropriate practices inside and outside the prison system. Kelly's active mentorship of the next generation of scholars and policymakers is changing the face of penal reform in Canada and internationally. Her work on challenging oppressive practices within the justice system, especially those that harm Black and Indigenous women, has forged a path through uncharted territory since the late 1990s. Kelly's experience and recommendations have been sought by a number of legal cases and inquests investigating women's prison conditions and rights violations and impacting policies within the prison system. Her more than 70 publications, including the award-winning articles, Prisons That Empower, and work on solitary confinement, criminal records disclosures, and risk assessments have influenced countless scholars as well as litigation and government agencies. She also shares her talents with the human rights and community organizations such as Canadian Civil Liberties Association and the Elizabeth Fry Society of Toronto, where she once served as president. In her role as the Professor of Criminology and Social Legal Studies at the University of Toronto, Kelly has amplified the talents of countless young women and played a fundamental role in launching important equity and Indigenous initiatives at the university. She currently sits as the University of Toronto's Vice President of People, Strategy, Equity, and Culture, and as an administrative leader, she champions diversity in hiring practices and advances work that celebrates all identities and lived experiences within the University of Toronto community. And now to the video.
Think outside the box. If you're thinking outside the box, you're not taking for granted assumptions about how things should be, and it means that we don't always have to keep doing the same thing. And it's an interesting and ironic parallel for imprisonment. And if we think outside of that box, we can understand ways in which we can work with individuals. When I very first started volunteering in the community, I worked with a number of different women who had experiences in conflict with the law, hearing in their own voices what it is that they needed. I came to understand that the solutions were not the ones that were typically offered by either government, administration, or even academics for that matter. And that once we start to listen to people and we start to hear what it is that they need, and when we meet them where they're at, we have a much better opportunity of providing options for individuals to go different pathways in their lives. Women who succeed and women who win these awards do not get here by themselves. They get here because they have worked with a number of other people who have supported them in their work, who've inspired them, who've motivated them, and ultimately who have, a piece of their success in their own selves. I'd like to thank the YWCA Toronto for this award, as well as for all the work that they do for women, girls, and gender diverse people. Their impact is profound and critical.
It is my great pleasure and honor to present the 2024 YWCA Toronto Women of Distinctions Award in Education to Professor Kelly Hannah Moffat.
very much, Anna, for those very kind words, and thank you for everyone who's here today. It's very odd to be in a place like this to hear about getting an award for distinction when the people who I think are distinguished are the many women that I have worked with throughout my career. As an academic and an advocate, I've had the privilege of working with and for women in conflict with the law. And it's those women and their struggles and their everyday sort of realities that have motivated me forever, but it's also their faith in me and sharing their stories with me that has allowed me to succeed in terms of writing stories and telling their story. And one of the most profound things that a woman in conflict with law once said to me was, you know what, those things called human rights, they're all of our rights. And in a society where now rights are being challenged on a daily basis and equity initiatives are being questioned, I think it's important that we as a society double down and we say, you know what, this is important and this matters. And it's also a time for us to look around a room and look at all the really successful people here who've had opportunities, and then to think, you know, how can we disrupt the spaces we're in and look around, and how can we share our privilege to increase opportunities for others? And when I think of women who have met in prison and women who have met in the community and women who I've seen 30 years later after they've left prison and become successful in many of their own ways, I keep remembering how important their rights are and how they're bound up with each of our rights. The only difference is we're never in the position on a daily basis to exercise our rights. We never have to think about being strip searched. We never think about being in solitary confinement. And these women do, and these women live these realities. And as we think through their rights, we need to think about what that means for our rights. And with that, I want to thank the YWCA for the work that they do and the opportunities they create in the lives of women and the work that many of the other women who've been up here tonight have done, because all of those women support women often at times when they're not at their best. And I think we all have a responsibility to do that. And I'd like to thank my colleagues that I work with every day. I see fierce women disrupting the order of things on a daily basis, and I'm so inspired by their work and that of many of the people here. So thank you for the opportunity to share the time and to come and interlope in the 2025 awards when it was 2024. So it's great to be here. And at that, I sort of also want to just take the moment to thank my daughters. And I hope that the world that they live in is one that we have built that's better than the one that we've left behind. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Professor Kelly Hannah Moffat. We would now like to welcome Dr. Wendy Sukier, founder and academic director, Diversity Institute, academic director of the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, and a Woman of Distinction alum who will present the final award of the evening.
Thank you. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here tonight with so many current, former women of distinction, and so many distinguished guests. And I really want to give another shout out for Heather McGregor, who I really think of as the changemaker exemplar, who has not only with her team built the YWCA of Toronto is a very effective and impactful organization, but she really has broken new ground with innovation and making the impossible possible. So I'd really encourage all of you to dig deep. It's a night for radical generosity. At this point in our history, the work that the women of distinction we've seen this evening and those who have gone before do in terms of advancing gender equality, fighting for truth and reconciliation, and advancing equity, diversity, and inclusion is more important than ever before, especially when we see how quickly things can slide backwards. So as a feminist trailblazer, Farah Khan, who is here to receive the Activist Woman of Distinction Award this year, is someone who I admire, I respect, and I revere, because for someone who is so young, she has accomplished more than many people in this room could achieve in their lifetime. She was a frontline youth worker and a trauma counselor at the Schleifer Clinic. She worked at my university, now Toronto Metropolitan University, and through her career, she has never shied away from sharing her personal journey, not because it's about her, but because she's trying to create pathways and opportunities for others. And bringing an intersectional lens to the work that she does is absolutely critical. And we must remember that her achievements need to be considered in that light, because as a Muslim woman, as a queer woman, as a racialized woman, as a survivor of abuse, a survivor of cancer, a mother, and so many other things, she has overcome obstacles that many of us can only imagine. She was co-chair of Ontario's Roundtable on Violence Against Women, and she drove change at the policy level, at the societal level. Many people talk about systems change. Farah's done it. With the passage of Bill 148, the Fair Workplaces and Better Jobs Act, which resulted in paid leave for employees who were experiencing domestic or sexual violence. This is one of my favorites. She was a member of Canada's Advisory Council on Gender-Based Violence, and as part of the first G7 Gender Equity Advisory Council, she advocated to world leaders that thriving economies can only happen with gender equity. Around the table was the current president of the United States. She speaks truth to power. And throughout her life, she's shown remarkable strength, tenacity, and perseverance. And she's also an amazing friend. I could go on and on. When she was 16 years old, Farah began developing the BRAVE model, a groundbreaking trauma-informed peer support framework. Think about it. We now take trauma-informed approaches for granted, but many of the models we use today, she was pioneering decades ago. She continues to innovate and enhance survivor-centered healing and violence prevention education across the country. And her work at my university on Consent Comes First and co-developing Use the Right Words, which was a guide to advance trauma-informed reporting on sexual violence, really paved the way for a whole generation of young people. And she has been sought after at post-secondary institutions across the country. We were really lucky to have her. As the founder of Possibility Seeds, she spearheaded Courage to Act, the first project of its kind in Canada to address and prevent gender-based violence in post-secondary institutions, which reached 1.8 million post-secondary students across the country and their employers. And there's so much we could talk about: her media appearances, her many, many, many awards. Most recently, as Executive Director of Action Canada, she worked to advance sexual health and reproductive rights nationwide. And her lifelong work in my view, is critical, not just because it has driven change at the systems level, not just because she has transformed organizations, including the one where I work, but because of the impact that she has had on individuals' lives. And if you talk to Farah, the things she talks about are her relationships with survivors of violence, her relationship with students, the impact that she has had on the lives of individuals. So I'd like you now to hear more about her and we'll welcome her to the stage after you see the video. Thanks so much.
Nourish seeds of care to create the possibility of joy. I do this work because I care. I do this work because I deeply care that no one should have to face violence. I was subjected to sexual violence. It is not who I am. Who I am is what I do with my life, and they are never going to steal my joy. I've had the honor of mentoring young women and non-binary people, and it's been such a pleasure to see them not only take up space, but build on this movement, build their own conversations, do research that has been groundbreaking in the community, watch them ask questions of policymakers. That's the kind of thing that I love. Not only creating space for young people to heal and to be in a place of understanding what they were subjected to and what that means for them, but to create a space for them to make meaning of it in a larger sense, to connect it to policy, to connect it to practice, and to take up space and ask for difference in those communities and from their government. I believe that we have to have joy during that time too. And so joy has got me through. Joy is why I'm here. The joy of my community, the joy of creation, the joy of resistance, of asking that there is a better world and that we can find it.
I'm so hard to choreograph, but it is my great pleasure to present the 2025 YWCA Toronto Woman of Distinction Award for Activism to Farah Khan.
They said I could take it off, so. Shout out to anybody who's having a hot flash right now. I'm in solidarity with you. If anybody watches Sex and the City, they know that scene when Samantha is talking at a cancer benefit, and she's like, I'm sweating. That is me. So, Wendy, you have been a mentor, a friend, a leader in the feminist movement. The work you've done on gun control is just groundbreaking. So to be nominated by you is an honor in itself, so thank you. I love bell hooks, and she says, rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. And I feel that so much in this room. I know that I was healed and have been safe because of the people in this room. I'm deeply honored to be named one of the 2025 Women of Distinction from the YWCA Toronto, an institution I deeply respect for the work that you do and the care that you give. Also, amongst the women of this community, the women that I admire, that I know, that I love, that I care about so deeply. I was raised in the feminist community in Toronto. I moved back to Toronto when I was 18, and I went to a Take Back the Night march. And I remember sitting there and weeping because I was around other people that got it. People that were survivors, activists, feminists, and my favorite, lesbians. And it was just amazing. And what I know is that the Toronto Women's Bookstore raised me, because I would go there, never buy a book, and just sit there and read. And organizations like the YWCA that made it safe to talk about feminism in the same breath with talking about the joy of reading, the joy of community. And this is what I know to be true, is that I am so lucky to be in a feminist community that calls me in, that mentors me, that takes my phone calls without even asking me what I need. You just pick it up, just a quick call, and then I take you on for about a half an hour to tell you a new idea. What I know is true also is that care and mentorship are flowing in multi-generational ways. There are people in this room that are young women who have led community leadership that I've learned so much from. And women that have been in this movement for decades upon decades that I look to and thank for building a pathway that I can follow. I believe that feminism saved my life, that feminism gave me language to talk about what had happened to me, what I had been subjected to, and what I was seeing in communities, how women were harmed, why queer and trans people, why gay men were not getting the services that they deserved. I know that this is about dreaming, that feminism creates an opportunity for us to dream and vision of the world we want, not the world that we have right now. It's not just about resistance, it's about a vision. It's about building. And right now, we are dreaming in a dangerous time. And anyone in the gender-based violence field, especially those of us that have worked at shelters, that have worked directly with survivors, know that the most dangerous time for us as women is when we leave. And we are leaving. We are not going to stay in a world that is harmful, that tells people that parts of them, their whole selves, are not welcome in certain spaces. We are leaving that world behind because we are going to define our communities by love and justice, not fear. We are going to stay connected. We are going to stay connected even when they make decisions and say, oh, this is what feminism is, or this is what a woman is. We are going to fight for trans girls to play sports. We're not going to look a certain way at who goes into our bathrooms and say, oh, you don't belong here. Yes, you do. We are going to make sure that our movement is one that is holistic. We're going to ensure that no child is starved to death. We're not going to look away when people are harmed. We're going to fight for universal pharmacare so that everyone gets access to birth control. Everyone gets access to the health care that they need. We're going to ensure that education and childcare and housing are continue to be public. And we're going to make sure that they're not defunded, but funded even more. We're going to love each other boldly because we get to love ourselves out loud. Toronto was a place where I saw people love each other out loud. Toronto was a place that I met my spouse, the person who did decades of work before they met me. Not that they're much older, but did decades of work before they met me to make sure that things like marriage equality could happen, even though they never said they wanted to get married. We changed that. I want us to write a new world, a world where violence is not an if or a when, but a never. I want to lose my job. I never want to do sexual violence work again. I never want to do gender-based violence work again. I want us to lose our job. I'd like us to do other things. I'd like to make art. I'd like to write lots of romance novels. No joke, they're actually the most liberatory thing you can do, and I can do a whole essay for you on it if you'd like. I want to build a world where consent is a must, never a question. This past weekend, I was with 130 young people from across Ontario, school board trustees, and they were talking about how consent education is still such a challenge in their schools. This should not be the case. We can build this better world together. And we're going to continue to advocate along organizations like the YWCA. We're going to advocate along organizations like Action Canada at all levels of government to defend and protect public education, public services, to make sure that no one is left behind. Because they're not luxuries. They're actually our way out of violence. I know too that you might think, well, it's not just one person, and it's not. So I'm going to ask actually anybody that has been on my care team to stand up for a minute. So if you're at table 34, 35, all those tables here, there's some feminist lawyers in over there. If you are on my care team, please stand up. Yeah, you. Look at these beauties. Two years ago, I got diagnosed with a form of cancer that there's less than 30% survival rates. Oh no, you keep standing. I got more for you, don't worry. But I'm still here, and I'm here because of them. I'm here because of their care. They showed up for chemo. They showed up for radiation. They showed up when I said I didn't need anybody. I'll go to the hospital alone, and I'll walk from chemo home. What I learned from that is that we cannot survive on our own. I thought I knew that, but then I learned that I had so much humility to go through. So I thank that care team. Now I ask you, anybody else in this room, who else has been on a care team? Who has watched a child for a friend when they're sick? Who has taken care of a family member? Anybody? Who has children in their lives that you're caregiving? Who's an auntie? Who's an uncle? We are not going to get through the next decade without care. And you all know how to do it. You all know what that looks like. I want you also to let people care for you. Because the people in this room, you do a lot of caring. And it impacts your body, your heart, and your mind. I ask you to be humble too, to let care happen to you, Wendy. Because I want to be together with all of you in resistance and joy and love. Because I know how we push against the oppressive forces that are joining right now, that are saying that we shouldn't exist, that we shouldn't be here. We do it through care and love for each other. Thank you to the YWCA Toronto staff and board. Thank you for showing up again and again for women and girls and gender diverse people. Thank you for reminding all of us that care is critical to change. And I want to thank 13-year-old Farah, who thought that maybe I wouldn't be safe, but I am. And lastly, my mom and my dad are here. And here's the thing to know, is that anybody that's an activist around violence, we probably had something in our lives that broke that cycle. And my mom and my dad did that for me. And I'm a crier, obviously. I'm also in menopause, so I'm gonna cry more. But I just know that there's so many of us who do that break the cycle in our families, that are brilliant and brave as my mom. And the people that do that, we need to support. So thank you again. This means everything, and your care means everything. And please take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Okay. Very calm.
Congratulations, Farah. I'm just going to take this out. It's been a really amazing night, and just to close it off, we want to say congratulations to all our 2025 Women of Distinction, to Nancy, Carly, Dr. Aditi, Dr. Paula, Decca, Kelly, and Farah. Let's give them all a final round of applause. It has been my absolute honor to be a part of this evening, to hear the stories of the women who have won, the stories of the women that they help and that they assist, and to also be support for the YWCA of Toronto. So thank you for having me back. I asked you earlier to think about one person who has made a difference in the lives of women, girls, and gender diverse people. Don't forget to nominate them for a YWCA Toronto Distinction Award before October 31st. I know everybody in this room has connected to somebody that they can think of. And as we wrap up our ceremony tonight, just a couple of reminders for you, just some housekeeping things. Thank you to everybody who bid in the silent auction, and whoever won the tickets, whatever, congratulations. My children will be disappointed, but that's fine, don't feel bad. Congratulations to everybody who won. You've been notified by email that you made your win. Your item at the event's guest registration desk, just outside there at 10 p.m. And a reminder, see those booklets on your table? Do not leave them behind. Those program books, our friends at Elmwood Spa and Bangkok Garden have a very special offer that is only found inside the book. You need to bring the book with you. Also, Liberty Entertainment Group is giving everybody a $25 gift card to Siba Wine Bar, which is attached to the back of the program as well. So thank you very much. And again tonight, just a reminder, it's a powerful demonstration of our shared commitment to changing the lives of women, girls, and gender diverse people in our city. Thank you for joining us again for this amazing night. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night.